the only time that you really can magnify your health is if the body feels safe.
I really like this concept of, especially for women, we need to feel safe in our bodies.
Yes, parang it's underrated actually. Importante talaga. Super important. If you want to see gains, you rest. It's not about doing more.
If we want to lose weight, if we want to
You need rest. You need
become
sleep.
more fertile, we need
Yes.
our bodies to be stress-free. Did you guys know that 1 in 10 women in the Philippines have PCOS? And that most women don't even realize they're in perimenopause until years later after it started. These are the things we should be talking about, but we're not. Until now. And what about these new methods of health and wellness like GLP-1s, peptides, NAD, contrast therapy, red light, and all these other things? These are some of the questions that I want to answer. Guys, for today's guests, I am so excited because this is a topic I am genuinely really interested in. Health and wellness is something that I deeply care about, and that is something that I believe that all women should focus on. So, Kim, I am so excited you're here. I have been wanting to do this interview for so long because I feel like women have been giving the wrong health advice for decades, and you've been one of the loudest voices changing that.
Loudest ba?
Loud,
Loudest.
loudest,
Actually, it's still controlled.
loudest and most controlled, but still very.
I try my best to
informational.
be neutral, but most of the time I can't. But yeah.
And because I feel like women have been giving the wrong health advice for decades, and I feel like you've been one of the most scientific voices changing that.
Thank you.
So, welcome to Almost Honest, guys, where we have real conversations about modern womanhood, the stuff we don't usually think, but we say out loud. My name is Kylie Verzosa, and today I'm sitting down with the one and only Kim King, known as the Broth Queen. And
Thank you for having me.
of course. Thank you for being here. And honestly, full disclosure, we have so much Kim King products in our household. Me and my boyfriend have it all the time in the weekends. And also the whole office have it.
That's awesome.
Just to give a short introduction to who Kim is. Kim is a wellness entrepreneur, certified nutritionist, and gut health advocate who's been changing how women think about nutrition, hormones, and healing from the inside out. She's built a business around real bone broth and health and wellness, and today we are going to dive deep on everything from perimenopause to health and wellness new tips and why many of us are afraid of eating. So, guys, please let's welcome Kim King.
Thank you for having me again. I'm happy to be here and to be sharing what I truly love. And this is something that I would really want to share. It's just a bit of controversial, usually, especially for women, because there are different fad diets and it can be confusing. But I'm happy to share what I know and what I've learned throughout the learnings and the
Yeah.
educational background that I've really put my heart and work to.
Soul.
Yeah, so thank you for having me.
Of course. No, thank you so much for being here. I mean, you are your own example of the.
Thank you.
You look beautiful and gorgeous, and guys, she is literally shimmering, and like
Thank
her light
you.
is so. Ganda niya. Can you tell me a little bit about your wellness journey and how did it start?
It's very long, but for the sake of
Okay.
to compress
Yeah.
everything. So I have a degree in nutrition.
Mm-hmm.
The things that I've learned in school is not something that I was able to actually apply to all the clients that we have, even for myself. Educational system when it comes to health has evolved, and I've learned so many things. There are things that other people do, other women do, but you cannot actually copy paste it because you have a different stress level, you have a different
Body.
work, you're at a different season. When I talk about season, it's a cycle. Let's say you're in you want to conceive, for example, and there's perimenopausal and then menopausal stage. So these are the cycles that we need to honor. I always like to say you have to honor the season of your life. Of course, you cannot YOLO.
Yeah.
Or I call it let go and let God.
I
Sorry.
love that.
But you have the ability to be in charge and still navigate and feel your best and look your best throughout this season. But the gist is, my mom had cancer,
Mm-hmm.
and that's the really time that I'd say I placed more emphasis on how we should return to the basics, meaning if there's a general advice, even if, again, going back to not copy pasting whatever people you see online doing, just starting to eat more whole food. Let's say the Pareto is the 80-20%. 80% you focus on real food, single ingredient, and then you have the 20% to YOLO, to eat based on, like, if you want to experience something new, that's fine. But it boils down to what type of food you put in your system. So that's the first. So when my mom had cancer, I had to put her into fasting to fix her diet, and I've seen how it can really heal. And from then, parang no turning back anymore. Like, I really believe in the nutrition, of course, the ecosystem of the body, the
Mm-hmm.
sleep, how you manage stress,
Yeah.
and really choosing the energy, like what type of energy you surround yourself, because it can also make you sick if you
Yeah.
don't choose wisely.
Interesting. I feel like you see health as this whole holistic way, because I feel like a mistake people usually do is they see health as this one thing. Okay, I'm sick, then I just treat this. But you
Yeah.
look at it as a whole
Yeah.
ecosystem.
Yeah. Like earlier, I've mentioned about the technology and the Western approach in conjunction of the natural food, you can feel magnified in a good way, meaning it can heal and you can still be your best self. In
Okay.
synergy, parang you have to pair it with, of course, the nutrition pa din, but there are tools that can help you feel better, and why not use that to basically
Exactly.
magnify and make you feel better sooner,
So you believe in the basics of health, but also you believe in these new ways and
to
technology.
optimize.
Okay.
Yes.
Was there a turning point that made you realize that women needed a different approach to health? Or are we seeing how we approach health differently?
I'd say yes, because, like, for my in my experience, no, when I became a mom, my realization, I used to fast, so I grew up
Okay.
in having the mindset of fasting is good for me. But then I became a mom, and then I cannot do water fast because I was breastfeeding. And I was so particular with my nutrition throughout the process of the pregnancy, pre, during, and post, because I want to be the pressure that I put in myself. I want to be back in my pre-pregnancy weight 1 week, less than a week after
Yeah.
giving birth. It was doable for me because first baby. And then it becomes harder and harder. And then I realized, imagine how puyat you become when you're a new mom. And because you're tired, the access, it becomes challenging
Yeah.
to choose your food because that's the last thing that you would want to think about. And then I want to fast. So how can I fast if I need to breastfeed my child? So, and I grew up na parang I like to fast. So ang hirap kasi water fast yung ginagawa ko. Though I love soup. And in my head, you know what? Why would I restrain and restrict? Maybe I should try something else. And then I researched and then I saw, okay, this is amino acid. This is beneficial for my health, for my gut. This will suppress any junk cravings that I have because when you're puyat, the tendency to crave junk is higher
Yes.
because the body feels unsafe from the
Okay.
absence of rest and recovery for sure, right? And I was breastfeeding. So I started drinking more broth. And then in my head, wow, and because I know the culture na kailangan kumakain ka palagi and all of that. And in my head, you know what? I can help more women feel better if they can replace or add at least a cup of broth that has amino acids that can heal the gut, which is usually the most problematic part of your system because it's 80% of how you feel is connected to your gut. And then that's basically the start. Yeah.
Okay, interesting. Tell me about this bone broth and how is it beneficial for us women?
So, of course, other than having, most of us have dietary restriction, meaning we try maybe some for moral reason, but some we're just afraid, let's say, to eat meat. Where will you get the amino acids? I mean, yes, you can do a pure plant-based diet. My
Mhm.
sister-in-law is actually on a plant-based diet, but she knows how to curate in order
Okay.
to get
Okay.
complete amino acid. But not everyone has that time to prepare. And in my head, okay, maybe I can create a plant-based broth. I can create an actual bone broth, which is an amino acid. But I want it the best way, the best quality. So I imported even a water system to make sure that the broth that we make is at its finest quality.
How did you find out about this? Where did you find out about this bone broth? Like how did it stem? How did you know na okay, ito pala yung
So
good for me?
in Asian time, bone broth is actually it's the first drink that can actually, other than the turmeric drink, bone broth is one of that has healing components. If you remember when you were younger, when you have flu or if you feel sick, the parents usually would prepare soup. And there's reason why it makes you feel better, because you get the amino acid from it, the healing components, the glycine to calm down your system and the inflammation.
Mm-hmm.
And then because the body wants to heal, when the body wants to heal, you don't want it digesting anything. So the soup alone suits you. It fills up the body, but it's not taxing to the stomach to digest. So you still get to heal and still feel nourished, even in the absence of solid food while you're healing. So it's very soothing. And the science shows, I mean, if you it trace back, when back in the days where, this is a long time ago, guys, when we're still hunters, walang natatapon sa part ng meat. Whatever is available, that's the food that we eat. If we track back pa in Asian time, basically. And they use it and they just boil it, long simmering broth, and take it as their soup. So basically, that's the drink that has the complete amino acid, most amino acid that your body needs to replenish and heal. And if most women, and in my head, most women are afraid to eat more protein.
That's true. For example, like I am on a pescatarian diet, and I was initially afraid of taking bone broth because I was like, I don't take meat. And just because I started my diet a few years ago, 5 years ago, and I noticed when I didn't take meat, I didn't, hindi ako na-inflame. Like I don't bloat so much. So I decided to keep the diet, and till now I'm still on a pescatarian diet. So what would you advise like someone like me who
has restrictions?
Yeah.
So it's good that you feel like you get that intuition, like how you feel when you eat certain food. I think a lot of it has something to do with how we see food as well.
Do you think, let's say, if I think a lot of it has to do with our mental state, let's say, if I think then that meat is bad for me, then
it can be.
Then it affects
of course,
my
the
digestion
manifestation.
of meat.
Yes. But it can also be a sign that you have a genetic predisposition of not being able to digest meat. So the body is telling you not to.
Okay.
That is why I'm a fan of getting yourself checked. Like there's a DNA test where you can see your baseline, where if your body has no enzyme to digest fat.
Okay.
Some people, I would say, it's actually good for you to eat good fat. But then they would say, I feel bloated. Then let's do your genetic testing. And then we'll see you don't have the enzyme to digest fat. So that's exactly why you feel bloated sometimes. It can be just as simple as you don't have enough acid level or enzymes to digest meat. That's why you feel bloated. Because in the absence of eating red meat, for example, you lose the ability to digest it because the body will not produce any digestive enzyme. There's nothing to digest.
Okay.
So there's that. So for people that I encounter who wants to start eating, let's say, more meat, for example, they're more open and they want to test and see how they feel. I usually tell them to incorporate either apple cider to help you digest the meat, or take enzymes to break down the meat so you don't feel bloated. The only time that you actually feel bloated is when you don't have the enzyme to digest certain food.
Okay.
Of course, sugar will impair
Yeah.
your stomach acid level, but your stomach has to have a certain acid to be able to digest food. The fact that you're feeling bloated, it means it has no ability to digest that type of food that you're eating.
Okay. Interesting.
So it's a broad topic to discuss, but it's very related talaga siya. It's connected.
Okay, take me back to why is bone broth so important for women, or not even women, but like us in general? And how is it different from the normal bone broths we see online?
So
or
I
in the
think,
supermarket?
yeah. So let me just I'm a businessman woman, right? And I don't want I it's not in my DNA to hard sell. So I just usually tell people to try and see how you feel. And then from there, you can decide. You can feel it naman eh. If you feel better,
Yeah.
if you see your skin is glowing, if you see that your appetite for sugar, the moment that you started taking broth, is suppressed, then it means it's doing something good for you. It's not for everyone, but if there's something that I would want you to try is to test it first and see how you feel. The difference with how we do it, like for me, I really go deep down the science of it. Like for example, I can explain the difference between a short profile bone broth and a long profile. If you have a histamine allergy and you're stressed, I would not recommend a long simmered broth because you can increase the histamine reaction, which is the stressors. Basically how we react to certain stressors. So usually the long profile is the 20 hours simmered broth. And then we have the short profile,
Okay.
which is the beauty broth that we have, which is it sits well with the general population who has, even if you have histamine allergy or you have high stress, you're exposed to high stress environment, for example. And that's how deep we go when we study like the profile of each broth that we make. The parts of the let's say the bones that we use, we do halal, we have halal
Mm-hmm.
option, and then we have naturally raised. Like I really check the supplier, and sometimes they can claim organic, but when you see the farming, the way they do
Yeah.
things, it's not aligned with what I believed in, because I can tell exactly if this is like, you can say you're organic but you're not hormone free. So it's the lack of the actual educational system where ano ba yung difference of organic and non-organic? Ano ba yung natural? Kasi you can have a certified organic but you're not hormone free. So ganun din yun. Bombarded sa hormone, for example,
Okay.
yung chicken, for example lang, 'di ba? And I try to work with small farms, the ones that I trust. I can see how old school yung way nila. They're not trying to mass produce. So that's why we have the natural bone broth and the all organic, which is hormone free bone broth also. I give people options to basically see how they feel. And
And do they tailor it to their needs? Because I've seen you have like this beauty broth, which is like
yes, yes,
collagen, and
yeah.
I'm
So
like,
it has
okay, I'm
higher,
taking
yeah. So it
this.
has a higher collagen, and then we have the pure beef broth, which I recommend for babies also, because
Okay.
my children started taking meat stock and bone broth at the age of 6 months. Um, so there's that, and then I think it's a wholesome food, I would say, because that from babies to adult you can take it, and there's like I've seen magnified health results. And the way we process things from end to finish, we ozonate. These are the things that actually we should be sharing to the people, but we don't really get the chance to really show how
What
we
are
make it.
its immediate effects and what are its long-term benefits?
Usually, based on the feedback of our clients, they would say the first week they sleep better
Okay.
because of the glycine. So usually I would recommend, if you don't want to eat heavy at night, you replace like a cup of broth.
What is this glycine you're talking
So it's an
about?
amino acid basically. So there are some essential amino acids um, that the body cannot produce. So we have to get it from food. The components, the glycine keeps you calm. It actually soothes your mood,
Okay.
which is super important also, especially if you're like for women, we have cycles. So
Do we lose glycine as we age?
not really, because you can get it from food, but you lose muscle mass as you age.
Okay.
That for
Yeah, I
sure,
know.
diba? So those are the things, and it's also for the skin. So in fact, there are current studies that shows taking glycine supplement is so beneficial, and you can take it even in the morning, and it will not make you fall asleep. Because initially, when I was starting, I was like, baka makatulog ako if I take like a cup of broth in the morning. But apparently, it's actually beneficial if you take it like, let's say, morning, lunch, dinner, or you can pair it with your food if you're not fasting, for example.
Yeah.
So just an add-on, because when people ask, why do I need to take this to support my diet if I'm eating well? Well, apparently, unfortunately, the produce nowadays is not as healthy as
healthy
it
and
was
organic
before.
as they advertise it to be.
Yes, and even I mean, just the quality of soil already changed. So there's that component that we. That's why I'm a fan of supplementing whatever is not present in your system. Let's say if you do let's say you do a test and you can see like, okay, I lack certain minerals, then supplement it. Why would you want to wait? I mean, you can get it from food, but it will take a while. So if you're
Okay.
in a hurry and you want to feel great, then supplement it na.
Okay.
Ah.
Um, I want to talk a little bit about women's health. How do women's nutrition needs differ from men's? Like, is there a difference when it comes to eating healthy? May kailangan ba tayo kailangan kainin more and
Um,
or less compared to men's? Or
Physiologically and biology wise, women are more sensitive with dietary changes. In fact, I was sharing earlier, I have athletes na client, they would lose their period because they're doing OMAD, for example. But there's more to it. So I think for safety purposes for the audience also, when you do OMAD, like for women, it becomes problematic when you don't eat nutrient dense food and you're doing OMAD. Kasi
okay.
that's what mostly would do. Like, okay lang, one meal a day lang
Yes.
ako, I'll just have a dessert.
Yeah.
So, hindi nourished yung
I'm gonna have
katawan.
milk tea.
Oh, hindi nourished yung katawan. Ang ending is insufficient yung minerals na nakukuha mo. You don't have the micronutrients that you need to repair, to restore, for your hair, for your skin, for your body to hold the muscle mass it needs to hold, for longevity and all of that. As for men, walang cycle. And as you can see, I'm sure you've seen, like, men, they would go on a diet, and a week, mukha na silang ibang tao. Or
Yeah.
like, the progress is so, ang bilis, diba? But generally, I think if there's one thing that I would go back to and advise, and to answer your question, we handle stress differently. And I learned this as I get older. You really need to learn to navigate your health and align it with the phase or the season of your life.
Interesting.
So, like for me, this is a real talk, guys. So
Yeah.
I have 5 kids and it can be noisy. You have to be able to find time to put in good energy back. May it be your me time, quiet time, may it be meditating, because the impulse of eating unhealthy is also related to how stressed the body feels.
Okay.
And a lot of women, well, I can speak for myself. Maybe some people, they handle it better, but my experience, especially when I became a mother, is that there are more things that I had to let go, and there are things that are beyond my control, and I would not sweat anymore and stress about the things that I cannot control. I do my best the way I can. Let's say for example, working out, 'di ba? If you're single, walang mang-iistorbo sa'yo, you can work out na tapos ka ng 45 minutes and an hour. Pag may kids ka, they're all over you. The moment they wake up, okay, yung 45 minutes mo naging 2 hours na, guys, tapusin ko lang yung
Yeah.
workout ko.
Oo.
But again, putting more
So
energy
are you
in.
saying basically in a way, parang fill your own cup
Cup.
first before you give to
Yeah,
others? Kasi
because you cannot
wala
give,
kang mapapour
wala kang
kapag,
mabibigay. Yeah,
diba?
you cannot pour from an empty cup, diba? And the more well you feel about yourself, the more better you show up for the people you love.
That's true.
Irritable ka with yourself, you're unhappy with how you look, how you feel, or how your health is, then what can you give? How can you show up better?
That's true.
Diba? It's hard. But yeah, going back, men, oh my God, they're so lucky.
I feel like they
They're so
don't
lucky.
go through mood swings.
Wala.
And because I think their testosterone levels are very steady.
Yeah.
And us, we have our menstrual
Yeah,
cycles,
yeah,
right? We
menstrual
have
cycle, and then you
for
get
the 4
pregnant, and
phases.
then you train, you diet, it changes everything.
So mood swings is completely normal.
yeah, it's
completely
completely
normal.
normal, guys. It's completely normal to feel off when you're about to get your period. Your body you feel more irritated because the body is warmer. So there's that. And then when you to add to that, if you're a mom also and you just gave birth, there's postpartum, which is no one talks
Exactly.
about. And like I experienced it firsthand, and like I feel like I'm going nuts, and like what's happening? Why
Yeah.
am I like one moment I'm
I
happy,
want
one
to talk
moment I'm not.
about postpartum, but I first want to talk about our cycles. Can you explain to me our 4 different cycles and how can we supplement nutrition for that? Like, what is the best supplement and exercise that we can do for each phase of our cycle?
Generally, for the entire phase or season or cycle, you can eat the same, but you can eat more of, let's say, when you're about to get your period, you feel like you're craving steak. I'm not sure if you've experienced that, but some women will, and they've experienced it. It's just a sign that your iron is low. So, and you're about to
Oh,
get your period, you're gonna be shedding, gonna releasing that
yeah.
um menstrual cycle, right? So you have to incorporate more
Iron.
iron rich
Is it
food. For
true
example,
women lack iron a
most
lot
of the
more?
time,
Most not.
most of the
Something
time,
like three
most,
out of five
yeah,
women.
most of the
I
time.
might be getting my
And
stats wrong.
in fact, you cannot supplement it with the synthetic iron. That's not. So I learned that when I got pregnant. So I was studying about the postpartum, and ang dami nito. But anyway, the gist is, usually what the OB-GYN would give you is the synthetic form. They also, I mean, it's how the system works. It's the educate, they're trained to give certain supplementation, recommend certain supplementation, but apparently the synthetic will actually give you more postpartum. So
Okay.
there's that. So for women, I recommend that you study. You do not just rely on one source of information when it comes to health. It's best to test it yourself, get yourself checked, and then add this, add that, eliminate what's not working. Because at the end of it, you're the best person to assess how you exactly feel.
Exactly. Do you think there's no one size fits all to your health?
Yes.
No? So,
Yes.
do you believe in also trial and error?
Yes. Like
So,
for
let's
me,
just
yes.
try different.
Um,
What diet don't you recommend we try?
uh,
Let's just save the guests. Okay, wag
okay.
na natin puntahan tong diet na to.
Okay. I'm a fan of fasting, but if your diet is not optimal, meaning you're eating mostly junk, I would not recommend that you fast because it
Okay.
can create a double whammy. Because you're already depleted on a cellular level. So in hierarchy, I would recommend to fix your nutrition, focus on whole food, real food, and then once you've stabilized that and your body's already attuned and aligned with or used to eating whole food, then you start incorporating fasting. More
Okay.
than anything else, your relationship with food. So, like I was saying earlier, do you eat for performance or for experiential? If you've already experienced it, why do you need to experience it again?
Interesting.
So, but if you're you have a career, you want to feel optimal, you want to unleash your best potential as a human being, there's a reason why you don't see a lot of people in shape because it's not an easy choice to do.
So, would you say we have to choose one or the other?
You can still do both. That's why there's a Pareto, the 80-20. If you eat 80% whole food and then you have 20% experiential, it still can
So
work.
that's okay.
Yeah, so you socialize. Of course, you don't. Parang for me, well, we all have, I guess, different level of health. There's like a 5-star of health, which is talagang purist ka. And there's nothing wrong about that. If that what makes you feel your best self, you do your thing, right? Do
Okay.
you. But if you're like you like to try different things and you know naman that you're nourished on a cellular level, meaning even if you're fasting, you still eat whole food, nutrient dense most of the time, then a bite of cake will not really ruin all that 80% effort that you've made.
Okay.
'Di ba? So parang not being fearful about food is one. If you know that, so it can be technical because, for example, if
I
you're
want to talk
training,
up. Okay.
okay,
Can you?
go on, go on, go on.
I want to talk about three things you. One, fasting. Two, tell me about the OMAD diet and the Pareto principle. I know you've spoken about it, but I kind of want to give
Yeah.
them a gist of what each one is and why is it good for us.
Um, I'm not a doctor, just a
Okay.
disclaimer, but this is I have a degree in nutrition and I've been studying, and right now I'm taking another course which is the physiology of behavioral eating. So anyway, going back to that, fasting, if there's one thing in common even in all religions, it's fasting because it's not just actually for aesthetics. It's cleaning up the body on a cellular level. It's the ability of the body to do it the work that it can do basically to clean up.
Because the body heals itself
Yeah,
naturally.
so when you abstain from certain food, for example, it allows the body to recover from the damage of the years of junk, can be stress, and it quiets the noise, it quiets the mind, quiets the body, it calms you down. Look how exposed we are with all the stressors.
Yeah,
Sometimes you need it. And sometimes when I'm not sure if you fast, but usually you have more mental clarity when you do. And it's just like you feel great.
that's true.
Yeah. And of course, there's no one size fits all when it comes to fasting. There are different types of
And
fasting.
are there different times? Like
Yeah.
people go on 12
Yeah.
hour, on 14 and
There's
16,
60 there's 18 6, 18 hours of fasting, 6 hours
and there's
eating
the
window, and then
intermittent,
12, and
intermittent.
yeah, that's the IF, the intermittent fasting, which is the 18 6, can be 24/4, 24, or OMAD. But generally, I think it's beneficial to at least do fasting every, if you're not into fasting, at least every quarter. Like,
Okay.
for if you don't really like to fast, just allow the body to reset like a few days. If you're into fasting, you can still do intermittent. 12 hours is actually the basic, because technically we should be eating our last meal not close to our bedtime. So if your last meal is at 6 p.m. and then the following day you'll eat around 7, that's already a 12-hour fasting, which is natural.
Okay.
So allow the body to repair while you're sleeping. And then there's OMAD, which is one meal a day. I used to do this when, maybe years ago. Um, I still do it when I don't train and after my period, but not close to my period. Especially, I would not advise it for women also that has been going on a yo-yo diet, or if they have ED,
Yeah.
because it can be problematic, especially if you restrict so much, like the food choices, or you have some restriction with the kind of food that you eat. Then I would recommend just focus on whole food and just 12-hour fasting. That's
Okay.
already good enough. And then the other one
The
is
Pareto
the
principle.
so the 80
How do
20.
we apply this?
So since I'm a fan of recovery, on days, what you can do is on days that you train, you make sure you eat for performance and recovery, because it's so important for the body to heal and become stronger. You have to nourish it, right? So after nourishing the body, you have days where you do socials. When you do socials, ayaw mo naman ng KJ ka, but the technique is you still eat your protein, your non-negotiable macros. What are your non-negotiable macros? These are the protein, the amino acid, the protein, and the good fat. And then bonus if you want to have dessert. But it shouldn't be the majority of your food.
Okay.
So the ability to still have a small piece of dessert and not stress about it is already an 80-20 for me. That's me. To some people, it can be eating for performance 6 days a week, and on Sunday, relax. That can work also. So it really depends on your goal. I think the most challenging part is we would always copy what other people are doing, because
Yes.
thinking, oh, this is the best because that's how they look like, right? But they also have different stressors. They have, maybe they have more helpers at home, so
Yeah.
they can relax, so they have less stress.
Yeah.
There's also, like, maybe they only train 3 times a week and you're training 5 times a week, so mas pagod ka. Parang the moment that you don't get to restore and reset and recover, you end up stressing the body. You'll end up eating more junk. It's really the mechanism of the body. There's no other way. The only time that you really can magnify your health is if the body feels safe.
I really like this concept of, especially for women, we need to feel safe in our bodies.
Yes,
For
parang it's
us,
underrated actually.
ooh,
Importante talaga.
interesting.
Super important. If you want to see gains, you rest. It's
If you
not
want to
about
see
doing
gains,
more.
if we want to lose weight, if we want to
You need rest. You need
become
sleep.
more fertile, we need
Yes.
our bodies to be stress free.
Not naman
What do you
totally
think?
stress-free. Because,
Lessen the
yeah,
stressors?
like, really, to put it in context, like, you you know what a good stress is. Working out is a good stress. Working out too much, doing HIIT every day is not a good stress.
Okay.
That's already over
Yeah, I
pushing.
feel
Yeah.
I love HIIT, but I can only do it
At most, I would only recommend it
once,
twice. At most, twice a week. But
twice a week.
once a week is already like
Once.
good already. Yeah, more than more hit is not actually the optimal workout.
You talk about the gut. Can you explain to me? And I've also read some studies on the gut being the foundation of health, or the gut being the second brain. Can you expound to us more
Yeah.
on it?
To simplify, whatever you eat, when it touches the lining of the gut, or first you populate your gut microbiome. So there are dysbiosis and gut biosis. Gut biosis is basically just the scientific term for the balance, the good and the bad. So a perfect stomach health usually would have 80 to 85% of bad of
Mhm.
good, sorry, and then 15 to 20% of bad, because you need that bad guy to balance your immune system, right? But whatever you eat becomes who you are. I'm sure you've heard this, but it really is.
You are what you eat.
Yes, because you populate the bad bacteria if you eat more, let's say, junk. That's why it's connected. It's I'm not sure if you've experienced it, like for me at least, if I eat non-optimal food, for example, I feel like I have a hangover the following day. It's either I'll crave the same food, the last junk that I had, because now I populated that bad guy in
Yeah.
my stomach. And or if you eat more whole food, then you crave that food and you feel your best. You're happier, you're glowing, your sleep is better. It's all connected. Even your last meal will determine the quality of sleep that you'll have. So there's that. Let's say you had a lot of sugar. Do you think your blood flow will be better and then you'll sleep? No, right?
Yeah.
Because it will spike your cortisol. You'll have a surge of energy. Where will you put that energy? You're about to sleep. So now you're like looking at the ceiling, still awake. It's already
That's
2 a.m.
true.
So it's all connected.
Do you think it affects everything, like our moods, our
Yes.
energy, our
The study
skin?
shows it is.
Because it's
So
the food we put in, right?
yes, because the moment that the food touches your gut lining, it gives a signal to your brain.
Okay.
So the short dopamine spike from the sugary food gives you a short happiness, like seconds of happiness, and then after you feel down.
And that's where you feel like this sugar crash and
Yeah.
everything.
So yes, definitely it's connected. You are exactly what you eat.
How does a lot of people, they're parang claim to weight loss? Let's say I have my friends na, you have people like Heart Evangelista or Ann Curtis say that they've lost weight from the bone broth diet. Does it really help with weight loss? And honestly, I even have this really close friend of mine, Nikki, who was like, I was like, I'm gonna interview Kim King. She's like, tell her I am on her bone broth
Aw.
diet.
Um, it's not directly, but because it gives the body what it needs,
Okay.
it craves less of the junk.
And that's all we need, just the bone
Yes.
broth. And we don't need anything else because it has
Yes,
all
it
the
has the
nutrients?
nutrients that you need. It supports the current quality food that you're eating. It seals, it makes the integrity of your gut wall lining better because it seals the leak
Okay.
in the gut. So usually a lot of autoimmune diseases are actually connected to the integrity of the gut lining as well. So if you have a leaky gut, it actually helps seal that. It
What is
strengthens.
this leaky gut
So
you're talking about?
basically,
And how do we know
if
if
the
we're...
gut is damaged, undamming undamming signs, there are plenty of like signs and symptoms that you'll see.
Sorry.
Gesundheit. Signs that you'll see, like for example, so when you have a leaky gut, when you eat something and it goes through out of the gut, it leaks, the body will think that it's a foreign object and the body will try to attack itself. So you feel either weak or you'll develop autoimmune diseases. So it's all
Okay.
connected. But the integrity, the justice, you want the integrity of your gut superb and healthy. So how do you do that? By incorporating fermented food, drinking bone broth is beneficial also. And to answer your question, if it equates to weight loss, yes, it will definitely, because it suppresses the appetite
Appetite.
for junk. When the body gets the nutrients that it can understand, because food is information. Now, what's good about broth is it's a liquid form of this. It's like a multivitamin. You take it, you get to absorb it right away because it's in liquid form.
Okay.
So that's why usually when people do like a 3 day, they feel like a different person after. the science shows it's because you healed your gut, and it only takes a few days of reset to actually heal it. But if you don't allow the body to go through that healing process, then it will just add and pile to the damage. So incorporating it usually makes the body satiated. You sleep better too, which is so crucial for fat loss.
Yes.
More than anything
It's
else,
sleep.
it's sleep.
Oh, I saw
Yeah.
this. You talked about the hierarchy of
Health.
health.
It's sleep,
So,
nutrition, movement.
okay, so sleep first, nutrition, and then movement.
Yeah. Sleep, because when you are well rested, the body feels safe. So it's not on a fight mode.
Okay.
Your choices for food will become better. Magnified. Like you want food that will nourish you automatically. And then movement, because not everyone has the ability to just train. And usually women would overtrain and compensate and eat anything. Not thinking na, okay guys, you have
That
to.
is true. Parang kakain ako, pero
Oo.
hindi, mag-workout na lang ako.
Yeah.
So
So,
that's wrong.
bugbog, di ba? Bugbog yung katawan. Or they would overtrain. 4 hours ka nag-train the whole day. Tapos deficit ka pa. And then, hindi pa quality yung food mo. That it's not
Yes.
something that can heal the body. So, it's really problematic. So, in hierarchy, you fix your sleep. The body feels safe. You recover well. You fast longer when you sleep early. Because now, di ba? Usually, if you're still up midnight,
That's true.
ang hirap. But again, not everyone has the bandwidth to have the luxury of sleep. So if you guys have any question, I made a file about this because I have friends and I also experienced working graveyard in a
Yeah.
different basically time schedule. So like a lot of our the nurses, the doctors, sometimes they're on duty midnight, diba? So and the ones who work in BPO companies or mga call
Tama nga
center,
naman, sleep is also a luxury.
hirap. So they're just trying to, make a living, and they
Yes.
wanted to be healthy also, but they don't have the means. So guys, message me. I made a file for you
Okay,
that you can
message Kim,
follow. You can
guys.
follow simple guideline that can still help you feel better, even if of course walang makakapantay sa sleep ng gabi, because our internal
I love sleeping, Kim.
our
Like,
internal
I can sleep
external.
for 10 hours.
That's
Is that
good.
bad?
No naman.
What? How much? No, it's not
No,
bad.
it's not. So
How
there,
much sleep is bad?
my husband was asking about that at maybe 2 days ago. Sabi niya sa akin, what is an optimal duration of sleep for you?
Yes.
And I answered, I think I had myself tested before. I'm one of those parang 10% or 1% of the population. I can function with 4 hours of sleep. But I have to sleep between 9 to 2.
Okay.
So, more than anything else, more than the duration, it's me being aligned with my external circadian that's more important to me. So, if I sleep at 9 and wake up at 3 a.m., I'm already good.
Okay, so it also depends the time you sleep.
Yes.
Also depends
The
on your
quality,
circadian
because
rhythm.
the maximum growth hormone for healing happens between 9 to 2 a.m. If you miss that, you might miss the next cycle because you'll be waking up earlier, for example. So there's that. That's the science there.
Okay.
So if you like, let's say even for men, if you want to see more gains, if you hit that time, pag bata ka, you can wing it. But as you get older, you realize, oo nga, sleep is more super important
No?
for healing. Tsaka your recovery and the quality of your training the following day after a good night of sleep.
Matters.
Ganda. You're
I-
stronger.
I've started feeling my sensitivity to sleep when I went through depression, and I realized sleep was such a big factor of me being mentally well. And when I didn't get enough sleep, I couldn't work, I couldn't think, I couldn't socialize. And then when I suddenly got aware na, okay, then sleep
Important.
is a big factor for me, then I was like, okay, I need my sleep.
Yeah.
So
You
until
have
now, I need my sleep, or else I'm in a bad mood. I
Yeah.
cannot work.
Yeah.
I cannot function. No, it's
Yeah,
like the foundation of
yeah.
everything. And the next,
Yeah, so not everyone again has the luxury of sleep. So if you guys need help, message me. I'll send you. I made a file to just help because I really want everyone to experience how it is to feel optimal.
okay, what if the 9 to 5 sila, like they have office work and they cannot get enough sleep? What do you?
Babalik na rin natin.
Oh.
So pitch black room, blackout room. If you need to put an eye mask, the temperature of the room has to be adjusted. It has to be cooler, because at night you'll notice your temperature is mas cooler Then upon waking up rising, the cortisol shoots up, then you're warmer because it gives a signal to sa body mo na okay, it's time to hunt. It's time to work.
Okay.
So babaliktarin mo lang lahat. Again, it cannot give you the best quality of health because baliktad, but you can biohack it and apply what is doable for you. So let's say kung midnight yung shift mo or morning ka natutulog, babaliktarin lang natin yung approach. So kung yung sleep supplement mo ng typical 8 to 5 p.m. work, tinitake yan ng 7 p.m., ikaw ititake mo before bedtime, after ng duty mo, for example. Talagang we just realign it. But you'll try to trick the body. It's hard, but it can be done.
Okay. There are so many people who have insomnia, and one of them used to be me. How do you treat insomnia, or for people who can't sleep? Because I am taking like 25 mg melatonin, and I know it's not the best for me. Do you have any advice?
You can reflect and write it down. What's causing the restless mind, the monkey mind? Is it work stress? If it's work stress, then you can meditate and write a journal, make a journal, reflect on what stresses you. Because usually the sleepless night is connected to either the food that you had throughout the day or the body not feeling safe. What's happening? Is there anything that's triggering? Are you worried about work? Is it you have a deadline? You need to calm down your mind. Like for me, what I can share based on my experiences, if I work past 6 p.m., I get too hyped, it pushes back my sleep.
Okay.
Not because I have insomnia, but because I get too excited.
I kind of feel the same way. There are two reasons why. One, there's like so many thoughts in my head, and usually hindi pa akong pagod. Let's say on a day where I didn't work out, my body still has so much energy na hindi ko na-release. Or I get too excited. Let's say I come home from a shoot and excited ako. I cannot sleep.
Yung adrenaline.
No, the adrenaline.
Parang high ka dun sa experience or the emotion, the happy thing that happened also, diba? I think for me, what works is really writing down the things that bothers you or ano ba nangyari today. Also, check if you're caffeinated and under hydration. So, if you drink more coffee than a water, for example, or water with salt, I usually recommend if you drink a lot of coffee, you put salt in your water to balance out the depletion of minerals.
Okay.
So, there's that. Baka naman actually, there's a recent study. I'll try to look it for you. I'll send it to you. That Asian, for some reason, if we drink coffee, I'm not sure kung pure Filipina ka ba, but I think for Filipinos, I have to check. But it's applicable
Mixed.
for your mix na.
Yeah.
So, but usually, parang the ability to handle caffeine, parang you want to stop caffeine at 2 p.m.
Okay.
If you go, if you drink close to, let's say, late afternoon na, talagang affected yung sleep.
You think Asians and Europeans handle health differently? Let's say we have this Eastern type of medicine and you have the Western type of medicine, which is more of the pharma, and then us, we have the more holistic. Does it apply to, let's say, us? Mas tama ba sa atin yung Asian way of healing ourselves rather than the pharma way, the Western way?
I feel that even when it comes to eat, the way we eat, there's a reason why we're rooted. That's why, for example, diba, Eskimo, puro fish, but they're all like centenarians, healthy sila. So I guess it depends on how diversified your microbiome and saan ka rooted.
Okay.
That's why, let's say in Europe, they can handle gluten, they can handle bread better. They're less lactose because they're exposed to that early on. It's part of the blueprint of their genetic baseline compared to Asians, for example. Kasi like for my clients, usually may lactose intolerance talaga. So I guess it's really how much diversified your microbiome is.
Okay. So, and when you talk about the diversification of your microbiome, can you explain that?
So, for example, if I grew up not eating cheese and all of a sudden I started eating cheese, I don't have the bacteria for it.
Okay.
I feel bloated.
So you will bloat.
Yeah. So the way you populate that is, do you microdose it? And then you start
And then you start getting
populating.
oh,
Yes,
okay.
it's the same thing.
Ah.
That's what's good about the body. It's
So
very
you can
interesting.
train the body
You can train
basically.
the body to be able to digest it, except if it's a genetic baseline where, for example, you don't release a certain, let's say, your body genetically can't handle fat. That's a different story. But like for the microbiome, for digesting food alone, for example, there are some food that you can incorporate and you start digesting it better because you take microdoses of it, and then you start populating that
Okay.
bacteria. So for example, if you eat cheese, let's say raw milk and like dairy, you can take probiotic that can help with that. But by just incorporating little, let's say twice a week, meron kang cheese, pa micro, and then you start
And then you start developing
populating
the
that bacteria.
okay.
So now you can handle it better.
You spoke about fasting, how it's also a very spiritual way. I find that very interesting and also very intriguing. Can you expound on that?
So like for me, again, I can only speak based on my experience and what I've seen with our clients, no, and even with my husband. We are exposed to so much stressors throughout the day. May it be the people that you're exposed to, may it be the environment, it can be at home, or just being surrounded by random stressors or things that accumulate stress in your system. Or even the words of other people that you would hear, the news, these are all
Yeah.
stressors.
Social
And
media,
yeah,
our
so
feeds.
yes, that's huge also, right? But the gist is you want to be able to quiet your mind, to be able to separate yourself from the actual situation and see clearly. And usually, when there are so much noises, you're bombarded with these things, and then you're eating throughout the day. It's not even the eating itself, but just quieting the mind. It can be just being off your gadget to really expose to more natural grounding, for example, just to quiet the mind. It resets the entire ecosystem of the body. So for me, when I fast, when I have huge things that I need to decide on, I want more mental clarity, I would fast.
Hmm.
Because I feel more logical,
Okay.
and the science there is the blood flow is actually better because there's the absence of food and digesting. So your focus is more potent.
Okay.
And I'm sure to those who are listening right now, who are into fasting, I'm sure they've experienced this. Yung mga talagang hardcore na they would
Yeah.
fast like a month. My dad would do that while he was creating the menu. Imagine, while you're creating the menu, you're
I
fasting.
know, my
But he
God.
just wants the clarity, and I get it because I feel the same way when I'm stressed and I can't think clearly, when there are so much noises around me pushing me to different directions and I can't kind of find my anchor. I would quiet my mind and like really abstain from food and just contemplate. And for the record, it's not because people think if you're fasting it's like an ED. No,
Mm-hmm.
there's a other side of it, yes, but it is also linked to finding or silencing the mind.
Okay. How come, like, when I'm stressed, it's either two things: either I don't eat or I eat a lot. And many times I turn to food. But I guess in my younger years I would eat junk food, but now I eat grapes, healthy, but
At least healthy pa rin, di ba?
I make a point naman na
Yeah,
healthy.
it's healthy pa
Pero when
rin.
I get stressed, and depends on the type of stress, no, I want to eat. Can you explain this? Or like, is it
That's
good,
actually
bad,
the
or
current one I mentioned earlier, the course that I'm taking. It's a psychology of behavioral eating. Like, what are the emotions that makes us eat
okay?
impulsively? Meaning, impulse lang siya. If we're happy, if we're sad, I can answer if you're sad because if you can speak your mind, this is based on the ED world. I'm not pertaining to like it can be different for other people, but ED, when I say ED, it's eating disorder. It's a
Mm-hmm,
very
mm-hmm.
sensitive topic, so I don't really wanna
Yes.
dig longer or deeper about it. But that's the course that I'm taking right now. But the gist is usually we eat out our emotions. So when you're stressed, the body will be on a fight mode. it wants something that it will soothe it right away.
Okay.
So if that makes sense, like, okay, I
Okay,
am
so it wants
stressed.
dopamine right
Yeah,
away.
it wants to feel safe right away. And usually the closest thing and most convenient thing
Is
to do
food.
is food. Rare yung ayaw kumain. Mas marami yung ang outlet nila is food.
How do I fight
Separate.
that? How do I say na no, this is just me
So,
wanting
yeah,
to.
step back and reflect. Is this a true hunger? Or
Okay.
am I just stressed? If you're really just hungry, then eat and then choose better food. Because again, if you choose the wrong food, it can magnify your stress.
That's true.
Because now you've just fed the bad
You
ones.
now you feel
Like,
the junk foods on
yeah.
your.
So, but again, I want you to experience it yourself. And then usually kasi I would tell like my client, no, I know naman when there's resistance, like I don't want to try that, I'm not into that, but I usually am very patient, and then I let them go through the process, and then when they're ready, they would come back. You know what, I want to say thank you na I felt better. Yung totoo nga, parang there's more mental clarity and stable na, wala nang mood swings kasi better na yung way of eating, and the relationship with food also is
Okay.
better.
Interesting. I want to talk about. I would like to get your opinion on GLP-1s because I feel like a lot of people are on Ozempic or Tirzepatide and Mounjaro. Do you
Do I advocate?
yes? Do you advocate for it? Are
So
you against it? Do you
so for the I
yeah?
am neutral.
Okay.
Not because I want to save my ass, but I'm neutral because I have clients who are on it
Yeah.
currently. But I feel that if this is just me, if there's only one option for my client to to make her or him feel, or to make him healthier, and he can't do the just nutrition approach, I
Yeah.
would combine it with nutrition. I think the most important thing is you see where the baseline of this person's health. Baka naman sobrang taas na ng HbA1c niya, sobrang diabetic na, parang hindi na makalakad because super bigat niya. 'Di ba? And naghihingal na, can't breathe, meron ng sleep apnea because hindi nga makatulog na maayos from the weight. I would do an intervention and would say, okay, if you think that's, I would not recommend it right away, but if they inquire and ask me, I would tell them, you do that, but let's combine the
That's
other
true.
aspects. So, for example, okay, Kim, I want to consult you. I'm taking this right now. How can I magnify the effect? How can I wean off from it? Kasi yun yung problematic part. When you become dependent and you think that's the only solution, where it only helps you go through that, help you go through that smoothly because it suppresses the appetite.
Yeah. It
And
just
it
stops
delays.
the hunger. And
Yeah. But if you combine it with, let's say, a proper nutrition, then the result can be magnified.
Yes.
And then you don't become dependent on it because now, the moment that you stop, at least the rest is already mapped out. Okay, this is how I'll eat. I've already recomped my body. I'm happy with my weight. My energy is okay. I'm no longer diabetic or pre-diabetic. I crave for more healthy food now, and that's a win. So for me, at the end of it, ano ba yung gusto mong ma-achieve ng client? 'Di ba? It's not one size fits all talaga.
Okay.
Not everyone has the discipline that
capacity.
I can put on myself. I can do it I can not eat for weeks and I'll be fine, but not everyone is trained that
Yes.
way. And if the only way is combining that, but addressing the diet, then go for it. 'Di ba? At the end of the day, you have to choose which one is sustainable for you. But my only advice would be do it in conjunction of nutrition
Okay.
because it's so crucial, because a lot based on what I've seen or the people that would go to me and consult, I can see na some of them lost weight but they also
Yes.
lose their muscle mass or lost their muscle mass, which is problematic. Because when you lose the muscle mass, your basal metabolic baseline will go down. So, yung capacity mo to burn is
Tama.
lower. So, you don't want that. But in conjunction of good food, nutritious food, sleep, you feel confident about
Yes.
yourself by doing it, then why not? 'Di ba? I'm not enabler, but
Yes.
if that's the only way that can work for someone, then support.
Okay.
Diba? You can only decide for yourself. So, test and see how you feel.
I wanted to ask this because it was also very important for me because my partner and I started this company, and because we saw the rise of Ozempic and GLP-1, so we found that there wasn't any right way that people were selling GLP-1s
Yeah.
here, so we kind of professionalized the whole
The system.
service. And at first, I was curious about Ozempic and what it was because I heard like these Hollywood celebrities were doing it for vanity reasons. But I had my parents try it, and they're both diabetic, and they lost so much weight. And I could see they're happier, and I
Mm.
could see they're healthier. So I'm like, okay, I think into there is something
In it
to this.
to this.
But I also believe that they need to eat healthy because no matter if they're on these GLP-1s, but if they eat still like
Yeah.
shit, then
Yeah, yes,
hindi
yeah.
walang magbabago.
Yeah. Papayat pa rin sila.
Papayat.
But later on, it can be problematic kasi undernourished naman yung katawan.
Okay. What do you think about peptides?
I'm a fan.
Yes.
So I do NAD. I'm a fan of
Oh,
NAD.
me too.
Yeah. I recommend it to my clients. We actually started incorporating it with the plan, depending on the goal. Let's say for the skin, there's GHCKU.
Yes.
I have to memorize
Can
it.
you explain for the audience what NAD is? Can you explain what NAD
It's
is?
basically a peptide that can parang it resets the cellular function. It
Mhm.
makes you feel, to put it in context, it makes you feel more alive and
Yeah.
young. So if you always feel lethargic, if you always feel parang you're dragging your feet, and if you want to actually win off from coffee, excess coffee, just to push yourself, it actually helps. So it gives you that energy that you need. It makes you feel young.
Yeah.
So to put it in a simple kasi usually it's
Anti-aging, guys.
yeah, there's more technicality to it, but the gist is it will make you feel young. I recommend it for people that feels like they're dragging their energy, to those that are in perimenopausal na parang walang energy to work out but they want to start. I've seen with my clients and our patients na okay, they started training, they started feeling younger, they're not as reliant to caffeine anymore.
Okay.
So yeah, NAD, and there are other types pa of BPC 167. Those are like parang for recovery naman.
Okay. And would you recommend we take peptides? This might be a stupid question, but like,
I would recommend, so usually the best way to do it, if you really want to feel your best or tweak your health and make it better, to unleash your best potential as a human being overall, because peptides are basically, some are amino acid lang.
Yes.
So it's something that you can get from food, but the thing is it's targeted. So if you want to feel like instant, like wow, my changes, then you can do that. But I think it's best to also get yourself checked, just the
Yes.
basic. If you're
I
a
think you need,
candidate,
like, to check your blood
Yeah.
panels. And
Yeah,
you have to
so
take your labs
yeah.
first, right?
just to have like a bit of overview of like what lacks, and then there are like equivalent. Let's say okay, your thyroid function is like this, then you
Yeah.
can check with your endocrinologist, and then if he allows, then you can do it in conjunction of that to make you feel better. I'm all for. I think if there's one thing that I would want people to understand also, even if I am a nutritionist, I'm not a traditional one, I'm not dogmatic. We do what can work for you. And I think that's very important because we cannot box someone into a certain approach if this is not
Correct.
something that they believe in, it's not
Yes.
going to work as well. But if you're hopeful and you're willing to take chances and see, it's just amino acid, and these peptides are not naman problematic talaga. They're actually safe, and some of them nandito na before pa, like
Yes.
decades ago already, hindi lang na-advertise. I feel that it's the next level of supplementation actually.
I really believe so. When I
So-
take NAD, I really feel it's instant effects.
Mahal
I-
lang, but it's
I
it's it's naman
I will find
good,
you
yeah,
give you like good supply.
yeah.
But I feel it's instant effects. I feel nawawala yung brain fog.
Fog.
I have more energy right away. I can focus better. I feel like it has the same effect as caffeine, but cleaner.
Cleaner. Yeah.
No?
That's why I was telling you
Yeah.
earlier, if you want to
Like I don't need
win off-
coffee anymore, but I feel sharper.
yeah.
I take it every day,
You can
or do you
usually
prefer,
I would
do you like
recommend
the IV drip?
well, it depends kung nasan ka sa stage ng life mo. Like for perimenopause, usually if naka-pen siya, units yan eh. So you can take up to 30 units.
Okay.
I'm not sure what's the conversion if it's in syringe, but for the units, I have to verify. But usually 10 to 30 units. It depends. You have to again consult and see like
Okay.
someone who specializes with that. But we also do it in conjunction of nutrition.
Okay.
So, but more conservative kasi I ideally you don't want to put them on a high dose right away. Just feel it out and then see if you need more. Yeah.
Interesting. I want to talk about perimenopause. You mentioned it. And why is it so important we talk about this? Like, we all women go through it, but I feel like it's something that we're not really educated about, and it's not really spoken much about in public, and we are generally not taught about it at an early age.
There's more. I would. It's not my expertise. I'll be honest, but I experienced it myself when I did an IVF before. So
Okay.
usually when you do hormone tweaking, it can be a bit dangerous, but that's why you have to also see your OB/GYN and guide you throughout the process. But I think each phases naman, not just perimenopausal, needs a support system. Like you need to understand like what are the training if the body is too stressed already. Again, going back to what the body can handle, knowing that it's not just even the season eh. Baka overall wreck na yung katawan mo from all the hit workout that you've done
Yeah.
when you were 20 to 30. Araw-araw ka nag-hit. Araw-araw kang deficit diet, fasting without nourishing. So these are like accumulation and then you hit perimenopausal earlier than the traditional oldies na tayo kasi ngayon as early as I believe 28 meron na
Talaga
perimenopausal,
ba?
especially to those that are on contraceptive pills kasi
Okay.
tweak yung hormones mo eh. So there's that pa. So it can be so technical, but my recommendation, since it's not my expertise, I would still ask you guys to check your OB/GYN.
Okay.
And then from there, you can go to me and we can tweak
May
the
certain
plan.
nutrition ba that you recommend kapag
It
nasa
depends on the
perimenopause?
baseline of the person. So, for example, pag perimenopausal, like if you follow TCM, the traditional Chinese medicine, like there are certain food that makes your body feel more cooler. So, if you're perimenopausal, usually you'll get
Hmm.
like hot flushes and all of that. So, you kind of want to align it because there are food that will make your body feel colder, and then there are food that will make it feel warmer. So, there's that.
Many women are struggling with PCOS, but what exactly is PCOS and how does it affect hormones, insulin, and fertility?
I shared this earlier, di ba? We were discussing. So polycystic ovarian cyst. A lot of women actually has or have
Yes,
this already,
many in
and
the
we're not aware.
Philippines.
But it's all connected to a misfiring of our cells. Also, I don't. I'm gonna skip this because again, I'm not the expert on this.
Okay.
But what I would recommend though is you look into your diet because it's also usually magkakambal yan.
Do
If
you
you
think it's
have
a lifestyle thing?
of course it's connected. It can't be not connected
Yeah.
because our body, it's like I always tell this also to our clients. Your body is like an orchestra. You don't fix one thing and expect it to sound better.
That is true.
So connected lahat. So it can be your nutrition, your sleep, the way you handle stress, and most importantly your nutrition, because going back to nutrition, if there's misfiring, it means the body is not getting enough nutrients to heal also. So maybe you can look into your nutrition. And usually when I was saying na magkakambal, meaning they usually go hand in hand. When you have PCOS, it's either you're pre-diabetic or diabetic. So it's something that you can look into. I always wear CGM, not
You
because
know,
I'm
I was
diabetic.
wondering what you were
Yeah.
wearing earlier.
So I always wear CGM because when we make our products, I test it myself
Okay.
before we launch it. So if our claim is this is sugar free, this is low carb, it has to not spike my blood glucose. If not, then we'll redo our
Okay.
R&D.
What
So
about fertility? Talking about fertility, what are the fertility non-negotiables that every woman should know?
lessen your stress. Number one. So
Ooh,
if you're planning to conceive naturally, I would recommend that you speak to your partner or your husband. You have to
make them shut
deload.
up.
Deload. You rest. Find things that will make you feel happier because the body will feel safe. Maintain at least 18 to 22% body
Oh,
fat. So I was
okay.
saying earlier, if you're an athlete, like I have clients that are athlete throughout their lives and like talagang competitive, and they usually don't get their period because of the stress,
Okay.
over stressed, and lack of nutrients or kulang sa proper nutrition. I would recommend that you maintain a healthy weight that will make the body give that will tell the body, okay, this is you are safe to conceive. Because as long as you're doing extreme diet, for example,
It stresses the body
it
out,
stresses the
no?
body, it will not be a safe space for the child to grow.
Fair.
Yeah. So,
I wanted to ask about this, but like I'm already at an age where I'm thinking about. So I wanted to ask about this. I'm already at an age where I'm thinking about freezing my eggs, and my partner's sister is a doctor, and I asked her what is the best time to freeze my eggs, and she was like yesterday, last year. So can you tell me about this whole process and
well,
what nutrients or what nutrition do you think I can?
incorporate it.
Yes.
Well, of course, in order for the body to feel that it can conceive, you have to eat good fat.
So
So, if you can handle
kailangan
dairy,
kong
butter, MCT,
magpataba.
no naman. No, not
No?
pataba, not pataba. I think as long as you can check if you're at around 18 to 22% body fat, you can still look lean even if you're at 18%. But it doesn't mean that kailangan mo
Okay.
magpataba kasi pwede rin hindi ka mabuntis when you're too big naman, 'di ba? That's why yung iba pinapag-diet naman before
Mm.
conceiving. So, you want to be in a healthier range.
So what is this healthy range of fat for
Um
fertility?
no, I would not put like measurement wise grams, like how much of it, but
Percent?
just sparingly you can consume good fats, sparingly olive oil, coconut oil,
Okay.
maybe macadamia nuts, avocados. These are good fats that will give your body a signal. Okay, kasi it has something to do with the development of the child inside your body. So if you consume good fat, then the body feels safe already. There's no scarcity of nutrients, which is most very important for the brain development of the child. So kung ikaw pa lang, kulang ka na sa fat, how do you expect the body to kind of conceive if walang source of good fat? In fact, the
Yes.
body is so smart that it will try to create its own fat, cholesterol, to just make up for the absence of certain
Okay.
nutrients to make it survive, basically. But eating protein, may it be a plant-based protein if you wish to, or fish, or any choice of meat that will make your body thrive and feel safe, then it's something that I would recommend. Lessening your workload, that's one, to prime the body, because the quality of your pregnancy starts few months before you even get pregnant.
Yes, I heard about this.
So, hindi pwedeng gusto ko mag-pregnant this month lang ako
Oo.
magre-relax. Hindi
Tama.
pwede.
It has to be
You have to...
how many months of preparation
Actually,
before?
for our clients, kasi I started helping, in fact, ang taas ng rate namin with IVF because I help women get
Okay.
pregnant. So, I actually even introduced them to my
Yeah.
OB-GYN who helped them be able to harvest, good quality eggs. So, usually what we do is first, we stop fasting.
Okay.
Kasi yung mga talagang super nagda-diet, I would recommend pause the fasting if you wanna get pregnant. The 12 hours is fine. That's the minimum. 14 hours, kaya pa. But nothing extreme.
Mhm.
And then we allow the body to rest from extreme dieting and workout. Meaning, if you're working out 5 times a week, let's do that 2 to 3 times a week.
Okay.
So, meron kang space for recovery after workout or the day after. And then sleep. You sleep bank. Because the sleep banking...
What is sleep bank?
So, this is something that I actually learned when after my first pregnancy because mapupuyat ka eh. So, you get as much sleep as you need while pregnant.
Ah, okay.
So, when the time comes and
Tama.
you have to wake up to feed the baby
Tama.
or magko-co-sleep ka, you have to pump to feed the baby to make more milk for the baby, puyat ka talaga. So, either sasabayan mo yung rest period mo na, okay, I'll sleep bank, so when after giving birth, you have the bandwidth to at least be puyat a bit. And then sleep with the child also while they're napping. Sasabayan mo talaga.
Okay.
So that's a technique. I wish I learned ahead. But again, you don't have to make the same mistake. I'm telling you, you sleep bank.
Sleep bank, guys. So sleep as long as you can dahil puyat is coming.
Yeah.
And stress
Tsaka,
is
that's
coming.
what makes you crazy. Talagang the absence of
No?
sleep. Oo,
Yeah.
puyat talaga.
From
That's
what
why you
I'm
find yourself crying.
I know, my goodness. Ako talaga without sleep, I am
Like a
horrible.
different person.
I'm a different person. I also don't want to talk to myself. I talk to myself and I also don't want people to talk to me. But okay. Perimenopause hormone. Oh, okay. This is a question from my partner. He wanted me to ask. When hormone therapy is advised to men, it's often done in this feel like you're 25 again, get strong and live forever kind of tone. But when we talk about menopause, which is the female equivalent, the selling points are lessen hot flashes or be
Mhm.
less moody. How come?
I think it's more of how women like psychological. It's there's a psych to it, I guess. It's the
Mm-hmm.
marketing style because men wants to feel aggressive in
That's true.
aggression and it's a sign of their youth. And then women, the cooler you feel, like the lighter you feel your life is. For example, like because the hot flushes usually it happens perimenopausal, diba? So
Don't
like
you think we should change this
I think
narrative?
so. I think
Right?
the attack should be more informative. Like, what's
Right?
really the science there? Like, for example,
Exactly.
if I'm 40 and I want to build muscle mass, will this be beneficial? I think it's really the educational part that lacks.
That is true.
If you get to teach people to understand it in a
What is
way,
perimenopause? That it
diba?
happens to
Yeah,
each and every one of us
yeah,
women.
and it's actually it can be more beneficial if women would understand it better because now you kind of plan on what to how to approach it na you'll still feel great and hindi siya end, 'di ba? It's not the end. You can do something to feel better. You can incorporate maybe some peptides or some other therapy that you can do to support that season to make you feel your best pa rin, even if
That's
you're
true.
getting older, 'di ba? Parang each season you can still be your best self. Iba lang yung
I
age, but
think
you
I
can.
think that would be the way. I wanted to ask you, like, how would you sell these hormone replacement therapy to mga perimenopause? And I think you said the right thing. But be your best self
Yeah, you
every
unleash
season.
any season you can still feel your best. You can still look your best no matter what age you are. It's just a matter of learning what's your baseline, do something about it and really want it.
Okay. That's true.
Because yeah, if you really want to feel good, 'di ba? You can
Tama.
make it happen. Yeah.
What about anti-aging? What are the best foods for anti-aging?
Anything that has high collagen, guys.
High
Yeah,
collagen.
kasi we lose our collagen. I think 1 to 3% per year at the age of 30, I believe so. I have to double check. Please verify, but correct me if I'm wrong. But to that sort. So,
So
and you
what
can get it from
foods
food.
are
You
what
can get
not
it from fish,
okay?
which at least you're taking it. You can take it from bone broth. You can take it from if you want to supplement with collagen powder. That can be also beneficial if you have any restriction with your food intake. So any source that has collagen, it'll be good. And then you pair it with vitamin C because the vitamin C actually helps you regenerate better.
Okay.
So parang in conjunction of that. That's why if you want to buy, let's say, collagen supplements, you have to check kung may vitamin C mas better.
Okay.
Yeah, like we actually made our, so 4 years in the making, we finally have our dehydrated powdered broth because we have a demand internationally. So I have
Interesting.
clients abroad. But it took us a while kasi sobrang sama ng available ingredients here. So we have had to import and we have to really check. I had to check the nutritional facts and all of that. No filler, no maltodextrin and like. So parang the just maltodextrin is basically worst type of like preservative. It actually is the worst than
It is
sugar. It
it's
actually,
not like MSG, right? But it's the preservative that
but it's
makes
preservative that makes you diabetic. Sorry.
okay.
Yeah, so you look into those supplements that has that and you check. You can wear your CGM to test it for yourself if usually if mababa lang hindi magre-reflect but if it's mataas. So I'm keen with those ingredients. So I made sure that it has rose hip because I wanted to magnify the effect when they take it. So when they travel, because I have clients and patients na when they travel, they want to bring the broth and sometimes
Yeah.
napapadala naman nila. Di ko alam paano nila ginagawa. Ba't nadadala nila kung mga isa-isang bote
Paano
lang?
kaya? They freeze it, no?
Naka-cooler and all. Meron yung naka-vacuum pack. But now, because we have the powdered broth. So, hindi ko pa siya ni-launch,
This
but
is very interesting
yeah, hindi ko pa
because I
siya
feel like
ni-launch.
yeah,
Pero, may mga clients akong binibigyan ko when they travel, oh, you take this para at least hindi ka mapuputol yung
this is
progress
very
mo.
interesting. I feel like this would be kind of May gumagawa na ba nun?
Internationally, meron. But when I had it tested here, may mga fillers. So kami yung unang-una actually.
Okay.
And I suspect we're the first in the world na
Okay.
walang filler.
Kaya nga, I
That's
feel
why
like
it
it's
took...
revolutionary. Like,
Yeah, it's really revolutionary because I tested it myself. It doesn't cause any spike. Well, of course, shorter yung shelf life. But I want something that I want to make something that I can personally take and I can allow my kids to take. So if it's not anything that I can take, I would not sell it. That's my principle, and it's hard.
guys, she has
Limited
made
talaga.
something very revolutionary, and it is
The dehydrated.
pang ano lang, pang
yeah,
filler.
yeah, the dehydrated powdered bone broth.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Oh. Guys, I heard that she's starting something, and I believe this is so revolutionary. I've never heard of this before, first in the Philippines, and it is.
It's actually the Flourish. It's a functional, sorry. It's Flourish, a functional cafe and a wellness hub. So it has we will be offering drinks that will make your mood better. For example, if you feel like you need energy today, we can curate something on the spot.
Interesting.
So, and then there's food component if you're into wellness and targeted, like you have your macros and we can curate it there when you walked in. And then we have the curated wellness area where you can nourish at home or flourish at home, meaning the grocery pantry curated depending on your goal. And then the clinic. So the clinic basically is where we do the consultation.
Interesting. I am so into these things, and I can't wait to try. Okay, this next part of the podcast, this will be quick. It's called Hot Takes. This or that, quick fire, no overthinking, just pick one. You can explain a little bit because I also want to kind of hear your explanation on this. So, let's start. Gut health or mental health first?
Gut health, because it will follow. If your gut is if it's functioning optimally, then your mental health will be better.
Interesting. Skip breakfast or skip dinner?
Skip dinner. Because if you follow the circadian rhythm, you're supposed to eat earlier the day than later the day. Not close to your bedtime because you want to heal while sleeping and not digest.
Interesting. Pagod ka, gutom ka, naantok ka. Anong unahin mo?
Pahinga. Tulog. Itulog mo na lang yan. Walang gains kung pipilit mong mag-workout.
Tulog mo na lang yan,
Tulog
sis.
mo na lang yan.
Okay, cardio or weights for women?
Weights.
Or Pilates?
Anything resistant training, Pilates pasok. Pero if Pilates, I like both. Pilates, I think if you're not into weight training or takot kang magpalaki, yun kasing common dilemma.
Yes.
But strength training, resistant training is good more than cardio. Cardio, once a week, pwede na.
Okay, so weights.
Weights.
Bone broth or protein shake?
Bone broth.
Yes. Calories in versus calories out? Facts or outdated?
It can work both ways. So calorie in, calorie out, depending on your activity. Because food is energy. Mm-hmm. So if you are training hard, you'll need to replenish.
Yes.
And to be able to recover well, you need the food to recover also. And you become stronger the following day. If we want to be technical, I'd say the body, technically, if you look at the science, the body can't really understand calories. But it understands signals and information from the food we eat. So even if something is 0 calorie, if it spikes your blood sugar or can't read by the body, then it defeats the purpose of it being 0 calorie.
Okay.
You're still better eating an apple, for example.
Okay. Rest day or push through?
Rest day.
Agree. Eat for your cycle or eat the same every day?
Eat the same, but eat more of the micro and macronutrients needed during those season.
Okay. Organic everything or don't stress about it?
Don't stress about it.
Heal your gut first or balance hormones first?
If your gut is well, your hormones will be balanced. It's all connected.
White rice or no rice?
It depends. If you're training, you can optimize white rice or carbs. If you're mostly sedentary, then go for less starchy carbs.
Okay. Quinoa or shirataki rice?
Quinoa.
I love quinoa. I have quinoa
Can I
every
explain
day.
why?
Yes,
shirataki
please.
kasi, shirataki, so if you eat other, let's say there's like, if you combine it with protein, the shirataki absorbs some of the nutrients from the protein you eat because it's like a sponge.
Okay.
So, it depletes the essential nutrients. So, kahit mababa yung calorie, usually, you lose weight the first initial phase, but magbabounce back. Sobra kang gutom na gutom for other nutrients.
Okay.
So, yun yun.
Kain ka muna. Love language or peer pressure?
Sa culture natin, I would say it's more of the love language, but it can be also toxic. I believe in listening to your natural hunger cues. Maybe we can be more appreciative when or more respectful when you say sorry busog pa ako. Um but I think because we're trained to just care, and it's yun nga, language of love is food. I think it's just how we're wired to ask the people that we love, kumain ka na ba? 'Di ba? So parang it's just a polite way to check on
Yes.
you. You can always say no if you're not truly hungry.
That's
And they would
true.
understand.
That's true.
Forgiving na yung mga tao ngayon. They understand when you're fasting.
That's true.
Yeah.
Okay, now we are moving on to the last part of the podcast, which is called the dilemma debate. So we asked some of our listeners to send in their dilemmas on health and their wellness journey. And we got one from Gia26 from Quezon City. And she writes, I've been trying to eat healthier and more intentionally, cutting back on processed food, doing intermittent fasting, focusing on protein. But every time I'm at a family gathering, my titas and lola keep saying I'm too thin or I need to eat more rice. They even joke that I have an eating disorder. It's frustrating because I feel healthier than ever, but I don't want to disrespect them or start a fight. How do I handle this without losing my mind or my appetite?
Um so I also experienced this myself.
Oh,
Yeah, a lot, a lot. Like
no. Pero
because
kumain ka.
yeah,
Sobrang payat
iba
mo.
kasi yung era, like the way the older generation would see it eh. But now kasi we're more informed. So we kind of know how we feel exactly and what we want for ourselves. And I think there are some times where it's okay not to explain yourself, because not because you don't care, but because they're alam mo na they're not open to hearing your reasons
You
why,
know
and it's
what? That's
okay.
true.
And ako, the way I look at it, I get this a lot even for my kids. Kawawa naman sila. They're not eating fast food. And sabi ko, mas kawawa ako if they get sick. Or mas kawawa yung katawan nila if they get sick. At the end of the day, who takes care of you? Do they take care of you when you're sick? Or do you take care of yourself when you're sick? And
That's
if the answer is ikaw lang, then you are responsible sa health mo. You cannot expect people to suffer for you when the time comes na you feel weak or you feel sick. And I think as long as you eat, you know that in your heart you're eating well and you're nourished, because iba-iba naman ang size ng katawan ng tao eh. Like I was saying, the endomorph, ectomorph, and
Yes.
mesomorph. So baka naturally payat ka lang talaga, and it's a gift, diba? And it doesn't equate, even if you're the thinnest or the fittest, it doesn't also equate to health. Health is being able to feel great and look great at the same time.
That is
Now,
true.
you can be payat but you're dragging your feet, then
That
that's
is true.
diba? So, at the end of the day, how do you feel? If you feel healthy, stick to what's working sa'yo. Don't let other people's opinion, even if family members sila.
That's true.
You
Do you
have
think
to-
there's a proper way of educating your family without sounding too preachy?
Sorry, I can be, kasi we're, like sa house, we're so frank.
Okay.
So we're used na, well, look at you, ang taba mo eh, diba? So, but sorry, that's our normal.
No,
And
totoo.
it's funny
We
because
have
we're
to
used
be honest, guys.
But
We
ako
have to
kasi,
be honest,
when I love
guys.
someone, I try to deliver it nicely. I think you'll feel better and your joints will less be achy if you try to lose a bit of
That's
weight.
the nice version. What about the unfiltered version? Sis,
Unfiltered-
tingnan mo naman yung sarili mo.
Yeah,
Mm.
actually ako yung health police ng barkada ko. Like, oh, guys, medyo hindi maganda yung tayo ng damit mo. Kailangan natin magpapayat.
And I appreciate friends like that.
And it's funny because 18 years old pa lang ako, yun na yung sinasabi ko. Consistent naman ako. Ngayon pa lang nila na-apply, but I'm so proud of them. Like, shout
I
out to
love
my
that.
friend, Justin. Like, he's in shape already. And I know how much effort it takes to be on top of your health and to really understand the process and love it. And you see
Yes.
how when you feel good, everything is magnified.
Yes.
Your confidence is magnified. And yes, it may be sound parang for other people vanity siya. Yes, everyone wants to look good. I haven't
Yes.
met anyone who doesn't want to look nice.
Tama.
Ano ba? Let's be real, 'di ba? So, when you feel good about yourself, everything will be magnified. You'll have more drive in life to do the things that you truly enjoy other than eating.
At saka mas magnetic ka sa
Yes.
tao.
Yes. So, for me, you do what makes you feel your best. And the rest are just noise.
I love that.
Yeah.
Okay, and our last and final is the lesson. I know, I want to ask more questions. Okay, come back na lang. Wait. Okay, wait. What I was gonna ask something. Oh my God, nakalimutan ko tuloy. Ikaw, Max, do you want to ask anything?
Naubos na.
Naubos na yung questions ko. Okay, this one. What is there any myth you want to debunk with health? Sa mga
Ito, for
Yes.
women.
on
We
women's health.
are all obsessed with our weight on the weighing scale. I'm one of the isa ako sa nabiktima
Guilty
nito.
din ako.
You know, you can look thinner and you can look leaner even if you're heavier on the weighing scale. It depends on what your body composition is. And for you to build muscle mass by doing strength training, it entails effort. Trust me, I've tried it myself. I was able to gain after I gave birth, my body fat is at 24, 26. Ang taas.
Yeah,
Kasi I was
that's high.
breastfeeding and puyat. Even if I was skinny fat. And then I tried no calorie counting. I trained so hard. And I only gained 4 pounds of muscle mass in the duration of 4 months or 5 months. Parang ganyan. So, do not be afraid to lift. And there's no one size fits all. Again, if you don't want to lift, do Pilates. Do whatever. I'm not into cardio, but if that's what makes you feel happy, by all means, you do you. What is sustainable to you? Diba? The rest are just advice based. Like for me, I would give advice based on my experience, and I've seen the things that I've seen na nag-work with our clients. But at the end of the day, it has to be the process that you'll be in love with. Kasi if hindi ka happy,
That is true.
the body doesn't understand if it's happening or if it's not. The fact that you're dragging your feet to do these things is also stressful. So you choose anything wellness or health related that you will enjoy.
That you will be happy with.
Yeah, something that you can sustain. Because you, like everyone else, you're unique. What other people can handle, maybe you can handle better or you can do better than them.
So there is no one size fits all to health and wellness.
Yeah. You curate it based on you.
What, for example, like I totally believe I totally understand your point. Kasi ako din, like I was one of those girls who would look in the scale and be like, oh my God, it's 1 to 2 kilos or pounds that I gained. Okay, the diet ako. But I started working out and training with a trainer lately, and my body has never felt
so good
and looked better. The weight training made me feel so much better. And I am a little bit on the heavier side, but payat pa rin
It's
ako.
okay, yeah.
But I feel healthier and more lean.
Yeah, tsaka tandaan nyo guys, pag nakita kayo, hindi naman kayo pakiweigh nga yung sarili mo. So, the way how your clothing or clothes fits and how yung tayo ng katawan mo is more important than the way.
And your energy.
And your energy. Super important.
The energy you bring.
You are just as young as your energy. So
you're just as young as your energy, guys.
Yeah.
And for like, just to close it, but ako naman, I like cardio, but I like cardio because of the mental clarity it brings me. And I love Pilates also.
Pilates naman is good. Resistant kasi.
Yeah.
Tsaka it targets some of the muscle area. I mean, body parts na hindi mo rin matarget sa weights, diba? Especially kung bodybuilding
That is
style.
true.
So, yeah, it works naman.
Okay. And very last one, if our listeners could take away one thing from today, what is one lesson from your journey that really changed how you approach health and wellness? And what would it be?
It's okay not to treat your diet as a religion. When I say that, it means do not close your mind to other options. test it and see how you feel. Your body will tell you if there's something wrong about the approach that you're doing. And more than anyone else, you know how you exactly feel. Do not allow, kasi there are so many, well, one lang ba? But yon, that's one. So it's really curate your own wellness journey using your own metrics, using your own baseline, understanding that you cannot choose one part lang and fix that and expect everything to function the way it should be. Your mind is so powerful that if you put your heart in something that you truly want, it can be done, no matter what age you are.
That is so true. Manifestation
Yep.
is real.
Yeah, yeah, and it can be done. Trust me, I have 5 kids. It can be done.
I love that.
It can
Guys,
be
she has
done.
5 kids. She's
Guys.
running
Yeah, I have
a
like
business.
yeah. I'm still here.
Multiple businesses. She's starting new businesses. She is
Yeah.
like
Kaya.
everything.
Yeah, if hindi nyo na kaya, message me. I'll help you. I'll tell you. I'll give you some things that you can check to lessen the load. And like everyone else, we all go through the process. Some days will not be as the best or the most optimal day, but every day is another chance to make yourself better. And it's your choice. It's in you. You already have the gifts that can magnify whatever that you have in mind that you want to do.
That is true.
Just put the work.
I really believe that everything you need is already in you. It just takes you to activate it. And sometimes you always need a little push, whether that's nutrition, whether that's the people around you, or whether that's cleaning up your gut health or
Yeah.
changing your energy. I feel like anything is possible as long as you
Yeah.
do the work.
Yes, for sure.
Kim, thank you so much.
Thank
That
you.
has been this
Haba.
episode. Ang haba. Oh my God. Oops.
Thank you.
Again, I
Thank you.
extended. But it was such a good conversation because Kim,
Thank
we really
you.
enjoyed having you.
Wonderful to meet your team as well.
Thank you
Yeah,
so
and more
much.
power to your almost honest.
Thank
I like
you
it.
so much.
I like the brand.
Thanks to and
Yeah.
thanks for being completely honest with us
Yeah,
and
of
almost
course.
honest.
Yeah.
Thank you guys.
Thank
So
you.
please follow Kim at
Broth Queen on Instagram
okay.
or Kim King Wellness and Flourish Cafe. Make
Okay.
connection.
And guys, if you have any more dilemmas for our next topic, please feel free to drop on my Instagram or Almost Honest's Instagram. And until next time.
Lips red like